Hey all, and welcome back to my channel, where today we're going to discuss a little bit about mimicry and specifically what is mimicry in the animal kingdom. It occurs regularly in the animal kingdom and even occurs more often than we tend to expect. Now, the purpose of mimicry is quite simple. Mimicry is when a harmless animal imitates a harmful animal in order to protect itself. It's a form of imitation. So, a harmless animal is imitating a harmful or dangerous animal, and in most cases, the primary purpose of this is to scare away predators. Now, some examples are when a moth mimics an owl, or even when a caterpillar mimics some bird droppings. In all these cases, the outcome is the same, where the animal is trying to protect itself and make sure it doesn't become someone else's lunch. Now, in the snake world, there's a great example, and that's of the coral snake family. It is estimated that there are over 150 snake species that imitate the coral snake family in various shapes and forms in order to protect themselves. So when a call came in to come and rescue this little guy from a residence in Johannesburg, I jumped at the opportunity. Now, from the picture that was sent through, it isn't possible to tell if this is or isn't a venomous snake. In this particular case, I knew it was very likely to be an escaped pet, as in South Africa we don't normally get that kind of coloration in a snake from indigenous species. What makes this one even more tricky is that there are no black bands on the snake, which typically means that it's an albino morph of that particular breed, which just makes it even more difficult to identify. Now, of course, whenever we go and rescue snakes, we've got to be gentle. And through all of this, I'm asking myself, well, where's the head? Is this little chap injured? Am I interrupting a meal? Because the last thing we want to do is injure a snake, irrespective if it is an indigenous snake or an exotic snake. There, slowly, and gently, we got the snake out. Now we can have a really good look at this little guy. You can see he's fairly relaxed. But then, as we take a closer look, how would you identify it? You can see from the other graphics on the screen that it's quite easily misidentified. So to the untrained eye, it's very easy to sometimes get the identification wrong. And what you don't want in any scenario is to misidentify a snake as non-venomous when it actually is venomous. And in every single case, you really need to treat the snake as venomous until you are 100% certain that it's a non-venomous species. Anyway, this little guy is an exotic species called the Honduran milk snake, and he is an albino morph of this species. He is native to the forests and coffee plantations of Honduras in Central America. As he is exotic, he obviously can never be released in South Africa. So he is now living in a luxurious enclosure with a colleague who collects snakes. One other great example of mimicry in the snake kingdom is that where a common egg eater mimics the black mamba. Now, we all know about the deadly black mamba and the number of injuries it causes throughout Africa every year. The common egg eater is absolutely harmless. But one of the ways it can defend itself is by showing its pitch black mouth when it fears danger. And when it does so, predators often mistake this dark black mouth for that of the black mamba. And they know that the black mamba means trouble. So by mimicking the dark mouth of the black mamba, the egg eater is often able to protect itself. Here's just a quick addendum about keeping exotic snakes. In South Africa and many other countries around the world, you don't need a permit to keep exotic snakes, which makes it easy for anybody to keep them as pets. But personally, I don't support this practice. The biggest problem with exotic snakes is if they escape, they can produce a whole lot of problems. Now, first and foremost, they may not survive as they are not in their natural environment. And that's just unnecessary suffering for the animal. And then there's this significant threat to ecosystems. And the best example of an exotic species destroying an ecosystem is that of the Burmese pythons in the Florida Everglades. These snakes have caused so much damage to the local animal populations that law enforcement officials are now forced to offer bounties for snake hunters to bring them dead specimens. So really, the preferable way to go is support indigenous species, be it snakes or any other kinds of pets. Support your indigenous species and do your bit to protect your natural ecosystems. I hope you learned a little bit today about mimicry in nature, specifically amongst snake species. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on this channel again soon.